For the best FIFA 15 tips, check out fifasolved.com.
Hi guys, it's Stephen from FIFA Solved. So this is a in-depth tutorial for the Rabona shot and cross. This is a very complicated skill move, but I'm going to try my best to explain it to you. And I've gone really in-depth to really go through it all the controls and everything. So the first thing I want to talk to you about before the controls or absolutely anything, I'm going to break it down one by one so you master the Rabona by the end. Is you shouldn't run before you can walk. You should go into the skill games. There's two I'll pick out for you here. The bronze crossing one, you'll have all the time and space in the world you want to just practice the Rabona cross there. And the bronze shooting one as well, which you can see on the screen now. And don't go into Ultimate Team or anything like that because you won't have the time and space. Believe me, first time, without practicing, you will not survive. Career mode is arguable. There's an argument with that. Maybe you will, maybe you won't. Put it on beginner and do career mode or kick off. But I would just go into these skill games, guys. Just practice there, and then you can go into your ultimate team and your career mode, and you'll be fine. So the first thing you need to remember is the player needs to have flair. It's not about skill moves. It's not about any of that, stats or anything. It's just flairs. These three players have got. And there's 3 rules to make it the memory test for you simple. The controls, which are very complicated and I'll get into in a minute. The player's foot, his favoured foot, and the angle. These are all very complicated, but I'm going to break them down for you. So the controls. These are very complicated, but what you've got to remember is hold down the R1 or RB button and the left trigger. So L2 or left trigger. Hold both of them down. And then it's simply X on the Xbox or square on the PlayStation. The cross button. All you've got to remember is the cross, even for a shot. Always the cross button, but hold down the left trigger and that R1 or RB button. So the player's foot, let's get into that straight away. So with Eden Hazard, he's right-footed. If you go down the byline, he can't do a Rabona. He's got to cut back in and then do a Rabona with his right foot. So that way. So he can never do it running down the byline. I've got cut inside of him. But if there was a left-footed player on the left, then he could do it down the byline, but he couldn't cut back inside. And as it plays through, I do the Rabona and slot it away with Remy. But yeah, you've got to cut in with right-footed on the left, or if they're left-footed. You've got to think about the player's foot. That's what you've got to remember. So there's a lot of things to remember. The controls, whether he's got flair. There's a lot to remember. I'm not denying that. That's why it's so hard to do. Again, Lallana. Now, I have to cut inside with Lallana to do it, but he's both-footed. He's got 5-star weak foot. It's a bit weird. He should be able to do it down the byline, but I've got to cut back inside and do it with his right foot for some weird reason. He should be able to do it with both feet, if you ask me. Again, one more example of this. Hazard. You have to cut back in because he's right-footed. Rabona, cross, and Rooney should have put that way. This is Sanchez. He's right-footed on the right, so he can do it down the byline. But you see, Sanchez can't cut back inside. He won't be able to do it. He's got to go down the byline because he's using his right foot. You've got to think about a Rabona and which foot he's really going to do it with. And that is a right-footed one down the byline. The angle. This is extremely complicated as well. So with Sterling here, what you've got to remember is you've got to do the left stick right. Okay? And then up. So we're going to go right with the left stick and then up. And you just got to remember, it's the way you're facing originally, and then the way you're crossing. So remember, the way you're facing, then the way you're crossing it. Right up, right up, right up. And then you'll remember it. And then if you're on the left side, then it's right and down, right and down. You know, with the left stick, just remember to do that and you'll get the angles right. It's hard to do at first, but you'll get the hang of it eventually. And it'll come natural to you in no time. It's the way you're facing and the way you're crossing. Remember that. Now for the shot, which is the most hardest of them all. I'm actually really good with the crossing, but as for the shooting, sometimes I muck it up, and most of the time I get it now, but it took me a long time to nail this. So there's a lot to talk about with the shooting. It's square again, or X. So you're going up, you've got to go up diagonally. That's the thing with this. And then you've got to go down. So you go up with the left stick and then down and then shoot. And it's the same controls, left trigger, R1. But if you do a sidestep, you can go right. So I recommend doing a sidestep. Go up diagonally and then right. And then the way you're shooting, the way you would do a shot. After a sidestep, this only works with a sidestep. And the other complicated thing about this is Sturridge is left-footed. So I can't come down diagonally and then shoot up or do a sidestep and then right. Because he won't do the Rabona. He's got to do it with his left foot. So I can't come down. I've got to go up the way I was doing it just now. Can't go down and then up because it won't do it, guys. So you've got to remember the footing, But yeah, the angle is a little bit weird. I've got to admit. You just got to practice it. I would recommend doing a side step because that really does nail the Rabona. You've got to go up diagonally no matter what, and remember the player's foot, and then do the side step and then shoot on target, and you'll do the Rabona every time. But you got to remember the controls: left trigger, R1. Or RB and then square. It's always square or X to shoot. The cross button. You remember the cross button. It's never shoot to shoot, which is also very complicated. And you've got to remember flare. But if you remember all this and the way the memory sort of thing I've hopefully put in your heads, the way you're facing and then the way you cross it, you should nail it in no time, guys. So guys, that's the tutorial for the Rabona. I really hope I've explained it well. It's one of the hardest things to explain, but yeah, I hope you got the gist of it. Be more tutorials coming soon, and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time, guys. Thanks for watching.